Hi everyone, this is the third lesson of my collection where we're trying to cover 100 idioms in just 100 minutes. So, if you just watch these 10 lessons over a span of 1 hour and 40 minutes, that's it. You'll be done and you will know all of these idioms. And I really sincerely hope that you will use them in your everyday parlance and this would help you improve your vocabulary and the way you speak. You can take a look at this slide about me. My name is Rima, I work for Femina, etc. etc. Let's move on to the set of the next 10 idioms here. First one here is it takes two to tango. Now, I could not find an appropriate picture, so these guys are not literally doing that tango dance, but this is what it means. So, tango is a form of dance in which a guy and a girl would dance. Okay, so a guy alone or a girl alone cannot do tango. You need a partner for it. So, Hindi mein, I think its translation would be ताली कभी एक हाथ से नहीं बजती है. You need both your hands for it. So it means that any action or communication, it always needs more than one person. So look at the sentence that the manager realized that it takes two to tango before firing me. So अकेले खुद से नहीं हो पाएगा. You would need two people for it. That's how it is. For instance, Bill and Melinda Gates, with the way they are running their foundation, have kind of realized that it takes two to tango and make a difference. Last straw. Now, last straw means a final problem in a series of problems. Let's say आपके साथ आज दिन में सब कुछ खराब हो रहा है. सुबह you got up late, then you got a firing from your boss, then you forgot your lunch at home, then in the evening you were given a very big project जिसकी वजह से you ended up staying late in office, then while you were coming back you missed your train. So everything wrong is happening with you. So finally when you come back home and you realize that there is no electricity, then you say, oh my god, like not having electricity right now is like the final straw for me. It's the last straw for me. So in this case, the sentence that I have used is that if I complete this last straw, I will be hired. So let's say there's a very, very important interview, and you know that if you crack it, you will finally be hired. So you can also use that as a last straw there. The picture, in case you guys are wondering, so this is the final missing piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Finally, ये जब हो जाएगा तो हमारी puzzle complete हो जाएगी, sort of a thing. Now break the ice. Okay, now imagine you have gone to see some girl or guy, and for shadi, it's an arranged marriage thing, and you're sitting, and both of you are awkward, and you're not being able to talk to each other. So finally, one of you decides to break the ice by asking the other, what their hobbies are. So this is what breaking the ice means, that you initiate a social conversation or an interaction. So let's say when you're having your GDs, okay, I'm sure all of you would want to be the first one to talk. But let's just say if you end up being the first one to break the ice, means that you were the first one who spoke. So always break the ice in a group discussion. That should be your aim. A bird's eye view. Now, I think this is the most basic explanation of this picture. You can see that, when a bird is flying at this great height, so whatever the view of the bird is, that is literally what a bird's eye view means. So, a view from a very, very high place that allows you to see a very large area. So, means अगर आप 360 degree type का view देख पाओ, not necessarily, but अगर आप देख पाओ. So, let's say Eiffel Tower gives you a bird's eye view of Paris. So, it's a beautiful view, and if you can see it, you'll be like, oh wow, when I go on this height, I can see from such a great height how the city looks. It's giving me a bird's eye view. A litmus test. Now, I'm sure in school we've all done that litmus paper test where if it's acidic, it becomes red, and if it's basic, it becomes blue. So, it's basically a method that helps to know if something is correct. So, basically, we use a litmus test. Let's say I am the HR manager of some company, okay, and they say that Rima, there are 10 candidates, and we want you to evaluate them and see how good or bad they are. So I put them through a series of tests, and then finally I'm like, okay, so there is going to be a one-on-one interaction, and this is going to be like a litmus test for you. So if you end up doing well in this, means that you are able to come out of it well. So the final thing जिसकी वजह से मुझे पता चल पाए कि वो अच्छे हैं या नहीं. Look at the example here. Taking up the job served as a litmus test for me to know how good I was at applying my knowledge. So अगर वो something that is putting us to task or something that is enabling us to know how good or bad we are, that becomes our litmus test. Now, the drop of a hat. Okay, if any of you is wearing a hat right now while watching this video, just lift that hat off your head and throw it down. How much time did it take you? Literally just 1 to 2 to 3 seconds. So the drop of a hat means very, very instantly. So the willingness to do something extremely instantly means the drop of a hat. So she expects me to make dinner at the drop of a hat, even if I'm busy with office work. Or let's say the new office intern would finish every work at the drop of a hat, or the new office intern would be willing to take new responsibilities at the drop of a hat. So you're very, very eager to know or to learn or to finish some task, to do something basically, but एकदम instantly, जल्दी जल्दी में कि पलक झपकते ही ये कर दो, how they say in Hindi. Afraid of one's own shadow. Now, guys, if you all, this is very, very basic English, just translate this into Hindi. अपनी खुद की परछाई से डरना. And I'm sure we've all seen tons and tons of B grade Hindi movies where they say dialogues like अब मुझे अपनी परछाई से भी डर लगता है. So but this actually means that you become easily frightened. So somebody look at the sentence here. My friend is afraid of his own shadow after watching a horror movie. So we all start thinking that हमारे bed के नीचे से कुछ निकल के आ जाएगा after we've seen a horror movie or anything else. But this necessarily does not mean that you use it after you've seen a horror film. In any case, you can also use it that, let's say, when we went to the outskirts of Maharashtra and we saw a deserted bungalow, all of us felt that we were afraid of even our own shadows over there, that sort of a thing. Okay, a house of cards. Now, a house of cards, if we all have played with those playing cards and we have built those houses from that, and ekdam se just one flick and the entire house would come down collapsing. So a house of cards translates into something that is very poor planned. जैसे आपके प्लान की फाउंडेशन बहुत वीक है कि एक हल्के से किसी भी झटके से वो गिर जाएगा. So the sentence here that we've used is, my friends always come up with a house of cards. I really don't think you should use this in a sentence like this. Probably in terms of house of cards, you can maybe say that I decided to study for my UPSC mains at least 3 months in advance and prepared like a proper plan for it. But it proved to be like a house of cards and I was not able to follow it. So when you say something like this, then the other person will realize कि oh अच्छा इसका plan इसने अच्छे से devise नहीं किया था, या it was a weak plan, या it was something that was not very well formulated. That's why he or she was not able to implement it properly. So a house of cards means something that comes down falling, या अच्छे से execute नहीं हो पाता है कोई plan. Next is black and blue. So black and blue is literally like full of bruises, and you can see whenever you get hurt, जिसको हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं नील पड़ जाता है, तो वो अलग अलग कलर्स उसके चेंज होते रहते हैं. So we can say that while I was walking down the street, there was a goon who came and who beat me black and blue and took all my money away. So black and blue means that to hurt or injure somebody so badly that you use this with the word beaten. So like he beat him black and blue, or he was black and blue after he came back after playing, like how we've used it in this sentence here. So maybe it's basically about how you have hurt yourself so badly that you have all these bruises. Last one here is to be in the doldrums. So this is how you pronounce it, to be in the doldrums. As the picture signifies here, it means to be in low spirits. We had sort of touched upon another phrase, which was chip on one's shoulder, where we think that we are upset with the whole world and we think that the world is against us, sort of a thing. So to be in the doldrums means that you're in low spirits, where you think that सब कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं जा रहा है मेरे साथ, मैं बहुत upset हूँ. So a very, very basic piece of advice, especially for you all if you're preparing for your exams. I think we can, if you're listening to this lesson, then I can just say avoid being in the doldrums. It fails you. So don't be in those low spirits. Don't let your mind control you. Don't let apne, how in Hindi we say apne dimag ko apne upar havi mat hone do. Try to stay positive, try to work hard, and make sure you study well for your exams. So don't be in the doldrums. That is how you use this phrase. Now, 30 new phrases you have already learned, and it has only been 30 minutes, guys. So I'm sure that this lesson is proving to be beneficial for you. Please leave your comments. Let me know if you like it or not. And for your homework, if you would like to call it that, for this lesson, it would be every single phrase that I have used in this particular lesson. Or you can choose certain phrases from my previous lessons also and try to find similar idioms to it, because you will find many idioms that would have the same meaning. Try to find some similar idioms, do a bit of Google search, and I'm sure you'll be able to come up with some very interesting ones. I will look forward to reading your comments. Have a great day. Thank you.